Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just real quick, Mr. Secretary, something I think you're passionate about, obviously a key issue in Georgia and across the country. As we build this appropriations bill, will you just commit to working with me and the subcommittee to make sure that we are strengthening the foreclosure prevention and veteran homelessness prevention programs that I know are important to you, important to the VA, important to the folks back at home? We just were looking for a clear commitment from you on that.
Yeah, we are, and trying to find the right way to do that.
Okay,
I think
thank
that's the
you.
best way.
I appreciate that commitment. And, you know, I don't think we have time to get into all the details here today. There's some information that I've requested with respect to the medical center in Augusta that I know you recently visited, which has been struggling. Many of these issues, I want to make sure to be clear in the interest of fairness, predate your tenure. But I sent a letter earlier this year requesting some specific information about the management of that facility and have not yet received the detailed responses to that letter. Can you just commit to me to get that information to the subcommittee as swiftly as you can assemble it?
I will be happy to do. Also, I actually, and Senator, I want to bring this up, I have actually sent you a letter as well, because some of the comments that was also made locally in the media and others indicated some problems at the Augusta Medical Center, but did not have names attached, did not have, and my job is to fix problems, not talk about problems. So I will get you what information you need. If you would get me the information that you have on the supposed issues there, I'll be happy to fix those. I'm not looking for either one of us. I think we share the commonality of let's fix the problem. But I will say this about Augusta, because I do think it needs to get on the record. It is before me, but since I've been there twice in person in the last year. Once was unannounced. They didn't even know I was coming because it's just got a problem down there. And we've also fired people that were in that position. My first time going to Augusta was with Senator Isaacson when we had the first scandal. So this has been a problem for something we need to work on for a long time. But I want if you would commit to me as well, if you have an issue of specifics at Augusta, please come to me. Don't have amorphous don't have amorphous issues of deaths or other things that we hear about in the media, and then when we ask about it, you don't actually give us the information to fix it. I'll be happy to be transparent with you if you'll be transparent with me.
Mr. Secretary, these aren't amorphous claims in the media. I mean, here are.
But you've not gave me the specifics.
Mr. Secretary. You know, I had not.
I appreciate it. I'm sorry.
There to be a public confrontation on this subject today, but if you want to have one, we can have one. These are not amorphous claims in the media. The Inspector General, and again, I was very clear in my question, this predates your tenure, but statements from the Inspector General at the VA about hindered collaboration on patient safety efforts, about failures that limit the ability of the staff at the Augusta VA to track, trend, and address systems issues that affect patient safety, about refusals to consider subject matter expertise that contribute to low employee satisfaction and patient safety concerns. These predate your tenure, but they're the VA Inspector General. And when my office, Mr. Secretary, hears from patients, the family members of patients, staff and providers at this facility about persistent failures with potentially life-threatening impacts, and we know, again through the work of the Inspector General, that there is a, quote, threatening and abusive communication style, retaliation for employees sharing concerns with leaders at this facility. I'm not about to come and identify those who are blowing the whistle at your request when we're trying to investigate what's going wrong at this facility. So here's all I need from you today. I asked a number of specific questions of the medical center leadership at this facility. We haven't received the answers to those questions. I believe you when you say you're working in good faith to improve outcomes here. I know you recently visited the facility, but I need the answers to the questions that I've asked and not yet received, so I just need a yes or no answer. Will you provide that information to me and to the subcommittee?
I have always said I will provide the information, but Mr. Chairman, in all due respect, I'll give him his yes, no answer. Yes, we're going to get the answer, but I need to explain. And this is you just mentioned two things, and we put it out in public setting, so we'll do this. Threatening and abusive. You know that employee's fired, has been fired for 2 years, almost, a year and a half? That person's gone. I've had 2 leadership teams replaced during my tenure there. The things that were referenced in this OIG report, which was, by the way, from September 24th through September 26th, is of 2024. I don't mind being held accountable for things that came before me. I will take all responsibility for what we're doing right now. And frankly, this is where it's just frustrating. And I look, you and I can have a great relationship. I want to. But when you put a website up asking for people to send you problems, and then when there's an implication in the media from your office that there was a death in a facility that could have been negligent, but yet we don't get the patient name, we don't get anything about it where I can fix it, that's a problem. And by the way, I have visited. I would encourage you to actually go to the facility.
Mr. Secretary.
I will work with you on anything. I'm not finished.
I have from the outset.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
I didn't interrupt him, and I'm not finished.
Go ahead, Mr. Secretary.
All I'm trying to say is, and I've got the OIG report on stuff that was closed out on a 2024 report. Let's sit down and talk about where we're at right now.
Yeah.
And that's what we fixed. I went down there. Did you realize, okay, I'm just going to let it out. I've never been a secretary to run from anything. That these people in Augusta, the workers in Augusta, did not think it was worth fixing the hole in the roof, and we lost a lot of equipment because they wouldn't fix the hole in the roof. We fired those people. We got rid of those people. I sent a new management team in there just in the last 60 days. Nobody's more upset about Augusta than me. It's my hometown. It's my home area.
I need to reclaim my time.
So I appreciate, but I just appreciate the implication, and this is where it came across, and maybe I'm sensitive to it. I'll get you that. But I think you're being a little bit of grandstanding on it because I asked for information you didn't get. In fact, when we gave it to the staff seemed offended that we would ask for that information from you.
Mr. Secretary, may I?
Go ahead, I'm through.
I opened this question by acknowledging that many of these issues predated your tenure in the interests of fairness, and then pointed out that there were a series of questions that I'd asked about the management of this facility where, as you just noted, very serious issues persist, and asked you for a commitment to provide that information to the subcommittee. That's the commitment that I seek. Now, when we have a facility that has a pattern, a clear pattern of retaliation and intimidation for folks who raise concerns within the facility, and I recognize that many of these issues predate your tenure. I'm not hanging this around your neck, Mr. Secretary, and there's no need for you to be defensive about this. In that context, I'm not going to provide the names and identities of people who are blowing the whistle to this subcommittee and to my office at the request of the VA, particularly where there's communications just recently, as a few months ago, going out to providers at this facility, telling them improperly, in my view, that they shouldn't suggest to their patients that they bring their concerns about the quality of care there to their elected representatives in Congress. So I want to be just very, I want to be very clear. That's wrong. Here is.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying
here. Yes, it is wrong. And here's the email that went out to providers at the facility. Okay, so there is. My point, Mr. Secretary, is not that you are to blame. My point, what began this entire thing, is that we have a clear problem at this facility. The problem predates you. I believe you when you tell me that you're working to fix it. I'm also working to do my job to oversee these facilities and the VA. Right. And there's information that I need and have requested that I have not received. I appreciate the commitment that you made at this hearing to provide that information to the subcommittee and to my staff.
I appreciate it. Ms. Senator, I appreciate this. I think, honestly, and I think I've just seen it, you and I, in some ways, are talking about two different issues. I have no desire to see a whistleblower. I don't get involved in that. If people want to complain about it, go right ahead. They can come to you. That's what you're there for.
Yeah,
okay?
Well,
But what my problem was, and I think this is the issue, there was implications in the media, and I think you'll acknowledge this. There were implications in the media of a wrongful, negligent, or somehow probable death in that facility, of which we just honestly ask if there was or there's some concerns about care in that facility. I don't care about the whistleblower. I don't care that they're upset at management. Most of them are upset at management because there was a bad situation there. That was only my concern. So I apologize. I'm going to step back. You and I both can step back. I was upset about one thing. You're upset about another. I get that. We will work together to resolve Augusta because Augusta should be the premier site in this country. You and I both agree on that. It's got a culture problem. That's why we've changed leadership twice down there, and the new leader down there is fighting and swimming in the sharks every day. So if you would like to, in fact, if you and I would like to go together to visit the VA at Augusta, I'll be happy to go with you. And we can talk about this in any way you want to. I
appreciate that offer. Let's begin by please getting the requested information to the subcommittee and to my office. Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
No. And this has been a good conversation.
The exchange captured a tense but revealing moment in a congressional oversight hearing, where frustration, accountability, and institutional failure collided in public view. At the center of the discussion was the troubled VA facility in Augusta, a hospital plagued by allegations of retaliation, intimidation, leadership failures, and deteriorating conditions that lawmakers say have persisted for years. The Secretary opened with a defensive but emotional response, insisting that he had already taken aggressive corrective action. He emphasized that problematic employees had been fired, leadership teams had been replaced twice, and new management had recently been installed. His frustration appeared rooted in what he believed were public implications that patient deaths or negligence at the facility were being ignored under his watch. He argued that many of the issues being discussed originated long before his tenure and expressed irritation that accusations were surfacing publicly before his office received enough detailed information to investigate properly. One of the most striking moments came when the Secretary described conditions at the Augusta facility itself, revealing that workers had allowed a hole in the roof to go unfixed, leading to the destruction of expensive equipment. The story underscored the depth of dysfunction inside the hospital and illustrated why he claimed to be personally invested in fixing the institution, calling Augusta his hometown and home area. The senator questioning him, however, pushed back firmly against the Secretary's defensive tone. She clarified repeatedly that she was not blaming him personally for historical failures but argued that oversight requires transparency and accountability regardless of who inherited the problem. Her central concern was the culture inside the facility, particularly allegations that employees who raised concerns faced retaliation and intimidation. She defended her refusal to reveal whistleblower identities, citing recent communications from the facility that allegedly discouraged providers from advising patients to contact elected officials about poor care. The confrontation escalated when the senator accused the Secretary of grandstanding, while the Secretary countered that media narratives had unfairly implied negligence or wrongful deaths without sufficient evidence being shared with his office. Yet despite the sharp exchanges, the hearing gradually shifted toward a more constructive tone. Both sides acknowledged they were focused on slightly different issues, the senator prioritizing whistleblower protection and oversight, while the Secretary focused on operational reforms and preventing misleading public narratives. By the end of the exchange, the tension softened considerably. The Secretary reiterated his willingness to cooperate fully, even inviting the senator to visit the Augusta VA facility with him personally. The senator accepted the offer in principle but stressed that the first priority must be delivering the requested information to the subcommittee. Ultimately, the hearing highlighted a broader issue facing the VA system: how deeply rooted institutional problems can create mistrust between leadership, workers, lawmakers, and the public. While both officials appeared genuinely committed to fixing Augusta, the exchange demonstrated how difficult reform becomes when transparency, accountability, and public perception collide in a politically charged environment.